Who would have ever thought that in today's time and age that vinyl flooring would be the fastest growing category in all of flooring? Now, vinyl flooring does carry a stigma. You think of grandma's house and her old linoleum when you were a kid, but the vinyl that we're going to talk about today is LVP, and that stands for Luxury Vinyl Plank. And as mentioned, it is the fastest growing category of all floors. It's durable and waterproof, and those are two great advantages. And it's really starting to cut into the categories of laminate and engineered hardwood. What I like about vinyl flooring is it's perfect for residential use and for commercial use. With the technology that's used in today's vinyl flooring, the looks are amazing. It's really hard to distinguish vinyl floors compared to real hardwood floors. Now, vinyl plank flooring is separated into three main categories. You have Gluedown, you have ClickLock, and you have floating. The Gluedown and ClickLock, that represents the majority of the vinyl floors sold. So Gluedown is exactly that. You actually glue the floor down to the subfloor. ClickLock, it clicks together like a laminate and is a floating floor. And then the last category, the floating vinyl plank, is exactly a floating vinyl plank. The floating floors are usually a lot thicker and heavier because they're set down using gravity to stay in place, where obviously the Gluedown uses glue to stay in place and ClickLock is clicked together. Now, vinyl floors share some common components, and let's go over those. You have your substrate, you have your decor paper, and then you have your wear layer. So this is a pretty cool tool here. It's actually a cutaway of your vinyl floor. So the substrate is made of multiple layers that are all adhered together with the decor paper, and it's kind of a cool deal. It's just printed paper that looks like wood, and then on top of that is going to be your wear layer. And that's all adhered together with the heated press to make a very durable floor. A couple things to keep in mind about vinyl floors is the overall thickness. The overall thickness is going to be measured in millimeters, starting with a 2 millimeter Gluedown all the way up to a 5 millimeter floating or ClickLock. Whenever it comes to a ClickLock floor, your most common is going to be about a 4 millimeter, and on floating floors, it's always going to be 5 millimeter because it needs the extra density to stay to the floor. Going back to the Gluedown floors, most common is a 2 millimeter, but you will find some 3 millimeter floors in commercial applications. So that's the overall thickness of the flooring. Now, the next component of it is the wear layer. And this is really one of the most important parts of the floor because it's where you're going to get your durability from. The wear layer is measured in mils. A mil is a thousandth of an inch. And so with a basic Gluedown, it'll start about a 6 mil wear layer, which is a residential wear layer, and go all the way up to a 20 mil wear layer, which is a commercial application. So depending on your traffic patterns, you definitely need to take in consideration the mils. 6 mil is just fine for residential, but you can't go wrong with a higher mil wear layer. It just means that it's going to be a more durable floor. Now, once you start talking about commercial applications, you want to be at least at 12 mils in the wear layer and ideally about 20. So keep that in mind. Now, another product that's in the vinyl plank family is WPC. And that's a great product that is new on the market. It's only been out for a few years, and it takes all the characteristics of a vinyl floor, being durable and waterproof, but it also incorporates a rigid core to give it more strength and durability. And we're going to go into each one of these products in further detail as we go along. Now, the most common type of LVP flooring is going to be your basic Gluedown. And that's a product that's been out for a while, but has enjoyed a lot of the technology, especially in the visuals that's come about in the past few years, in terms of this product going from basic looking to great looking. Now, like I said, a Gluedown product is exactly that. So it's typically going to be more flexible than, say, a ClickLock or a floating vinyl floor. And one thing that's very critical on Gluedown is your surface prep. So yes, this is flexible and will hide some imperfections, but the smoother the floor, the better. Because if there are any major, and even whenever I say major, just major minor imperfections, it'll really show on the floor and could cause problems down the road with it starting to come up. Now, it's imperative that you use the proper type of adhesive for glue-down flooring for best results. A lot of people will just grab any type of adhesive, and it's not made for vinyl floors. There's two types of adhesives. One's called a pressure-sensitive adhesive, and the other's called a wet set. Now, pressure-sensitive, what it does, it takes about a week to 10 days to fully cure. The great thing about that is that if you do have any movement where edges are starting to come up with the wet set, you can come back a few days later and actually roll the floor again, and it'll re-adhere down to the adhesive, and after a week to 10 days, it'll be fully cured. The next type of adhesive is wet set. So wet set fully cures after just a few hours. So the advantage to that is that the floor is fully cured at the end of the day after the install. The disadvantage is if any of the ends start coming up, it's hard to make it re-adhere down to the wet set. So you got to be very cognizant whenever applying wet set that you don't spread the glue out in too big of an area to where it starts tacking up and setting before you actually install the flooring. Now, in any glue-down flooring installation, you have to use a 100-pound roller. So that's the biggest question to ask your installer when installing glue-down floors. Are you using a 100-pound roller? If they say no, you need to find a new installer, because Gluedown is a great product that gives you years and years of service, but the installation is very, very critical. The most common glue-down plank is a basic 2mm. You're going to find this in a lot of apartment buildings and a lot of rent houses and residential settings. And so that just means that the overall thickness of the plank is 2 millimeters thick. And as mentioned before, it does have a wear layer starting at about a 6 mil wear layer. And also you'll see up to about a 12 mil wear layer, which is not that common in a 2 millimeter glue down. Now, once you start getting into a commercial glue down product, you're typically going to see the substrate to be a 3 millimeter overall thickness and be anywhere from a 12 to 20 mil wear layer whenever you start talking about heavy duty or commercial floors. Now, one thing on the overall thickness, a 2 millimeter will handle the workload of just about any residential application, but with a 3 millimeter overall thickness, it gives you more density, and it's a heavier plank that's going to tend to stay adhered down the floor and have less movement. You can see this plank's in my hand, and you know, it does have a little bowing and influence on it that all works itself out, but whenever it's installed, it can move around. So that's why you want to make sure that you're using the right adhesive and the right tools to ensure the perfect installation. Next, let's talk about ClickLock vinyl flooring. Now, ClickLock vinyl flooring is something that's fairly new to the marketplace. It's been out for about 5 or 6 years. And so it actually has a clicking mechanism that's similar to, say, a laminate. So it clicks together and is floating. Well, the nice part about that is it's easier to install, so very DIY friendly. So you don't have the mess of the adhesives. And also with it being clicked together, it will hide more imperfections than, say, a glue-down vinyl floor. Most of your ClickLock planks are going to be anywhere from a 3 millimeter overall thickness up to a 5 millimeter overall thickness, but the most common is a 4 millimeter overall thickness. The reason that ClickLock is a little bit thicker is because it needs more meat and density to have the clicking mechanism milled into the floor. There's not enough room on a 2 millimeter plank to put the click mechanism. Now, a 3 millimeter click is common, but it's a little thin and harder to install. 4 millimeter, a little bit easier to install. And whenever I say easier to install, because you can see there is some flex to this floor, and whenever you're clicking it together, it needs to be perfectly straight. And so the more flex you have, the harder it is. There is 5 millimeter ClickLock vinyl flooring on the marketplace, but that's kind of overkill. 4 millimeter definitely will handle the workload. there again, going back to the wear layer, it's going to be anywhere from a 6 mil wear layer up to a 20 mil wear layer. When you start getting into ClickLocks, 6 mil is out there, but it's not as common. Typically on a ClickLock vinyl floor, you're going to see about a 12 mil wear layer. This is a great product for both residential and commercial, very DIY friendly, and you know, it's a product that if you're looking at getting the beauty of a real wood floor, but the durability of a vinyl, this is a fantastic option to take a look at. And so you get the same durability that you would say from a laminate, but also you get the waterproof that laminate doesn't have. And so it's more scratch resistant than real hardwood flooring, and there again has the waterproof features that hardwood flooring doesn't have. Also, it's a product that can be, all vinyl flooring can be used in your wet areas. So your kitchen and bathroom, not a problem there. Vinyl plank also comes in a floating version. So it's going to look a lot like your Gluedown because it doesn't have a clicking mechanism. Now the floating vinyl floor, in theory, sounds great, but it has some shortcomings because it's a very heavy product that's a dense product that's supposed to just use gravity to stay put to the floor. Well, the problem is if you slide furniture or say rolling a cart or something over there, it can cause movement. And most of the floating floor manufacturers will recommend doing what's called like a perimeter glue or a crosshatch glue. So perimeter glue is where you're going to take adhesive and go around the perimeter of the room. And then the crosshatch is where you'll go from side to side and do lines about every 4 foot. Well, the problem with that is that it introduces adhesive to your project. And so the wear layer on a floating vinyl floor can be the same as a glue down. And in my opinion, it's a lot better to go ahead and glue down your floor or use a ClickLock to secure it to the floor as opposed to using a gravity free floating floor that can have tendencies to come up whenever you do slide furniture and heavy traffic. So it's a great product in theory, but I just don't recommend it. The last product that we're going to talk about in the vinyl family is WPC. It's almost become a buzzword in the industry. And if vinyl is the hottest growing category in flooring, WPC for sure is the hottest growing category in the vinyl family. Now, WPC stands for Wood Plastic Composite. Some folks might refer to it as waterproof core. So WPC takes all the characteristics of vinyl flooring, the durability and waterproof, but also adds a substrate to make it more rigid. So you can see here that this substrate has a piece of vinyl adhered to the top. So this is kind of like if you took a glue down vinyl plank and adhered it to a rigid substrate. Now, one thing about this is since it is more rigid, you can see it's really hard to flex. That means that it's going to be easier to install and hide a lot more imperfections on your floor compared to a basic ClickLock vinyl floor. One thing that I really like about this WPC is the ease of installation. Since it is more rigid, it's going to go together just like a laminate floor. So it is a little bit more expensive compared to a glue down or basic ClickLock, but it allows you to have less surface prep and a faster installation time. Whenever people ask me what type of floor do I recommend, in a lot of cases it's going to be WPC because once again the visuals are awesome looking and it's hard to tell the difference between the WPC compared to real wood, and it really holds up to high traffic and it is not affected by water. Once again, WPC does have a wear layer on top. Don't really see the thinner wear layers like a 6 mil wear layer. You're typically going to see a 12 or 20 mil wear layer when it comes to WPC, and so it's a great consideration for both residential, whether it's for your own house or for an investment property, and it's also a great option for commercial use. I'm starting to see a lot of WPC used in commercial applications, especially in restaurants. So this is a great product, and we have really put a push on this product here at The Boss and have a great selection of it. So next time you're in, be sure to check out WPC. So when you're searching for the perfect floor for your next project, be sure to consider vinyl plank. This is not the old school linoleum from Granny's house. This is a technologically advanced product that's not only versatile and durable. And that's why we really like this product category.